put out your progeny.
I think it's the multi-use
Yes.
hole. There
Yep.
has to be poop coming out, but anything else going in or out.
Yep.
So with these guys, they have what's called a respiratory tree, but you can think of it like gills. That is in the back end, and so water enters through the cloaca. So these guys breathe through their cloaca and poop out their cloaca.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Let this happen, and then we'll try tracking a line from here.
See,
I think
that's why this is all just fairy tales.
this is why invertebrates are the coolest.
Absolutely.
Because you have to ask the question, does it have a head? Maybe. This one does. Or at least a head end. Does it have eyes? I don't think these have light sensing abilities.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
but they can bioluminesce.
Can they?
Yeah, we've taken cucumbers out from the deep and put them in the dark room and touched them, and they glow.
Wow.
Up and down the body.
Wow. In pulses, like,
Yes.
so it's like a wave of light
Yeah,
passing from
yeah.
one end to the other. Wow.
Wow. Now, do you know if they sort of control that, or if they use a bacteria or bacterium inside
Zoom
them?
out. Hold on a second. We can zoom out and continue on the transect. And what was that question?
Coming wide.
When you're looking at
We're
sea
waiting on the
cucumbers
boat,
and they're
guys.
bioluminescing,
Okay, thanks.
are they making the bioluminescence themselves with a muscle or an organ, or do we think they're using the bacterium?
You
kind
know,
of
that
having
I don't know
inside
about
them?
cucumbers. I don't know.
I don't know specifically about cucumbers, but there are many more animals than we previously thought that can produce bioluminescent
I'll go
molecules.
look around for something else.
Wow.
That sounds great. Thanks. Let's explore what else.
Okay, coming wide.
Yeah.
Full wide.
Nautilus Live is loving learning about cloacas and our interesting sea cucumbers.
You know what else is similar between sea cucumbers and chickens?
No.
I remember seeing a popular news article that there was a deep sea cucumber that they called the headless chicken monster.
What?
And it was a swimming sea cucumber. And I looked at it, and there is no way that it looked like a chicken. But if you look that up, you will see a very neat swimming sea cucumber.
A
Did they
plucked
think it was
chicken, for
flailing
sure.
around like a headless chicken?
I guess.
I've got a question. I have always heard that sea cucumbers can sort of eject their guts if they're scared or startled by a predator, so they can leave their guts behind and off they go. Is that something they can do? Do they get rid of all of their guts? Because that seems like it'd be very hard to regrow.
It's better than dying.
It is better than dying, absolutely.
And some
Can
do
we
that.
zoom on that benthic ctenophore, please?
That we can.
Thank you.
Say when. Yeah, you can push in a little bit.
Where are we looking?
Yeah,
Amanda?
where are we
I'm sorry. It's down. It's about 45 degrees down and to the left from the lasers, the left laser on a stalk.
Oh, it's
and
the clear white
waving.
thing?
Yeah. Oh, that's not a benthic ctenophore, is it? What is it?
Sorry, I had an auto function
Oh.
on that just blew it out
That's
there.
okay. I don't know what that is. Oops.
I wonder if it's that relic anemone.
Possibly.
And is that its stalk?
No, it's hanging off
It's
of a
hanging
dead, is that a crinoid?
Okay.
Or dying
Or coral.
crinoid?
I don't know.
Or, yeah.
Could be coral stalk. I
It
don't.
looks like a dead stalk of some sort.
Huh.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Was
coming
not
wide.
what I thought it was.
Full wide. Thank you.
So, Erica, if we slow progress down, geeking out on all these cool inverts, just slap us around.
Okay, yeah, let's continue on the transect if we can.
Still
Yeah.
standing by on the
Yeah,
ship.
would
I'll
love
let you
to.
know.
I don't know. I assume they're the same genus, but I don't know about the species. Those are Pathopathes, black corals.
I have a science writing student in undergraduate that is asking
Okay,
about
full
science
zoom there, Wayne.
communication.
All
And then-
polyps all the time.
Copy. Full zoom.
That sounds like something you're equipped to answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to answer it and see if anyone else wanted to follow in with some science communication advice, because I absolutely love it. I started deeper into the research field. And as I researched, I just thought these things were so cool that I wanted to share them with the public. And so I began to work on my science communication skills. So I think everything that we learn here should be shared with the world, just like you guys are watching here on Nautilus Live. And we're so excited to be able to explore this environment with you. You guys are here with us in real time. We never know what we're going to find. So there's the excitement of science. There's the passion and excitement of sharing it. I think that's a great thing. I've definitely learned the scientific jargon and then learned how to be able to kind of break that down and describe the basics of things. As far as other jobs on this ship, I also reach out to the public when I'm not sitting on watch. So we do ship-to-shore interactions.
Okay, coming wide.
And so if you guys are interested in joining that,
Oh,
you
you
can
did?
check it out on Nautilus
Thank you.
Live. I think we're pretty booked, but you know, we'll try to
We're
squeeze you
heaving
in.
quite a bit. It's still
And so my job
telegraphing
is
me
to
that
reach
I'll
out
move a little closer
from the
to you.
science here that we're doing and make it available to the public and hopefully excite you guys to come and be our next explorers. If you are interested, we actually do have our internships and our fellowships open right now, so we'll be accepting for 2020. So check that out on our website of how to get involved. And you too can come be an explorer on Nautilus Live.
So where are there good programs for science communication?
Ooh, I don't know, actually. I feel like I'm just a toddler on my way to science communication. I started a little bit
Yes.
as a grad student with our education center and
Please
kind
stay there
of
for a
worked
moment.
and listened, and then have had a chance to talk with a number of teachers this year and kind of see how they approach material differently with different age levels and different groups. I know there are an insane amount of resources on Twitter. One of my heroes, Skype
Zooming in.
scientist, Sarah I'm going to mess up
Sorry,
her
I
last
didn't hear what
name.
you wanted to zoom
Sarah
on.
McAttack, we'll go with that. She is a fantastic science
Sorry.
communicator.
On the
Yeah,
kelp
go
on
ahead
the
and
bottom
tell
left.
me what you want.
To zoom on the kelp on the bottom left.
Kelp on the bottom
There
left.
seems
Yeah.
to be a kelp stipe
We
that's
think.
fallen.
So there are all
Looks
sorts
like a
of
rope.
sources for
Coming
science
wide.
communication.
You can push in about half there, Wayne.
All right,
I
pushing in
think,
half.
I think this is what she
I
wants.
mean, it's
Yeah, it's
obvious
that
that there's
big,
so
long
many engaging things that would be
What was that?
good for
Thanks.
the
Can we zoom on various parts of
world
it,
at
please?
large to know.
Yeah,
about
zoom away.
science.
Absolutely.
Okay.
For me, practicing. Go
Yeah.
talk to people. Go
Yeah.
tell your aunt or your uncle what you absolutely love about. Go to museums or aquariums,
I would say
exhibits
that's
that
kelp.
are teaching you and see which points they pick out to teach you. What are your main points and what do you want to share?
Yep.
And then find groups like Nautilus and other educational facilities and see how they distribute their communication material.
Is that, yeah, I'm sorry. Is that coil there? Drift kelp?
Yeah, we think
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
but
kelp
look at
fall,
that
kelp
coil of
something.
stuff next to the rock on the right.
Ah, that
looks
coil.
like
Cucumber poop.
cucumber.
Is that what
poop.
that is?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Some of the cleanest sand you'll find because
That's
they
right.
extract all the organics from it.
My first view of sea cucumber poop.
Yep.
Everyone poops.
There's a second
Look.
pile there.
So
in the
there's
lower
two
screen.
piles right there, right?
There's also a stunning sponge on the right-hand side. Guys,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
these guys,
Looks
you can
like
see the canals inside
a lily
of it.
pad.
Yeah. So sponges are pretty ornate. They have this amazing water canal system in them. So we can't see the small pores that are on the surface
want
of the
this one?
sponge. But
Oh.
this one's pretty cool because you can see
Oh.
some of the canals that then the water travels through within the sponge. And so all those canals will meet. In the middle there, it looks like they have an osculum, so the water will come out of that osculum.
Okay.
As it passes through those canals, it's routed through various chambers, and the chambers will extract out food particles for the
Push in
sponge.
there, Wayne.
All right, pushing in.
That is cool.
That is cool. That
About
is,
full zoom.
that is a beautiful
Yeah, that's full.
sponge.
That's all I got.
That is,
Roger.
that is beautiful. So you said an osculum
far
is
away.
kind of like a mouth or an entrance for that water to flow in?
Actually, it's the opposite. An
The
osculum is
opposite.
the chimney where the water comes out after it's passed through the rest of the sponge.
Gotcha.
So
So if we were looking at this, the water is sort of flowing from the edges to the middle or the middle out, or?
It's flowing from everywhere that's the surface of the sponge that we can see
Wow.
in and then into those canals and out from the osculum in the middle.
Gotcha.
Kind of looks like the base of some corals.
It does a bit, yeah. Oh, there's also a tiny, tiny amphipod, a little crustacean, just up above the anemone on the rock to the right of the sponge. You can see its eye because its eye is reflecting back at us. It's
The
sort of
white,
this-
the white thing.
the little
white dot.
oval. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice spotting.
Good eye.
I like small things. I'm one
Okay.
of those people on a scuba
Coming
dive
wide.
who spends all her time at one rock, staring at every tiny thing.
And that's a great thing to point out is the diversity is we always see these large things, but
Cool
think about
wide.
all the
Roger.
millions of itty bitty tiny things
Moving
that
southwest.
are living in this environment as well. So it's a huge habitat for so many different sizes of creatures. We've got some new fans tuning in. Oceans as the final frontier. So these are the voyages of the exploration vessel Nautilus. So someone says we are their Star Trek fantasy, and it is great to be able to explore our oceans that way.
We need a theme song.
We do need a
Yeah.
theme song. I'm not going to try to sing anything because it won't go well. But we definitely need a theme song for
Well,
the
just
Can we
hum
Nautilus.
take
a
a
few
zoom on that
bars.
octopus? See if we can see the third arm.
So we did find some males
I
on the previous.
Saw them. Yeah.
Those are the ones that were kind of perched up previously?
Well,
or?
they had their arms kind of outstretched, but they tended to have the third arm that's modified curled up. That one doesn't look
This
like.
one-
The one is coming at us this way. Is that the third?
Yeah, the one that's coming out
And
towards
it's
toward the
right.
right. Yep,
Yeah.
right rear.
so
it looks like
That's
a female.
it's a
That's
female.
female.
She looks, I would say her skin looks pretty old.
Yeah, she might
She's
be
got
done.
some damage on
She's
her
gotten
arm.
gray.
Yeah, wrinkled, and the skin on her arms there looks like it's kind of frayed or peeling.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is an old one.
It's a good thing she can't hear you.
Wow, look at the definition on the xenophyophore to the right of her.
I was just going to ask you if you could repeat the
Wow.
name for that beautiful, I would like to call it a stegosaurus.
By the way,
looking
they smell like
creature.
mushrooms, which I think is very
Do they
pleasant.
really?
They
Yeah.
smell like mushrooms.
They
Like
do.
good mushrooms or like really fungusy
So-
mushrooms?
I haven't smelled a variety of mushrooms, but you know the brown ones that you buy at the grocery store. They smell like that.
They do
It's-
grow in the dark.
It's lovely.
Amanda, how
Fair
did you
enough.
get? How did you get that deep to sniff them?
Well,
Ooh, good question.
I never went
Right
there
on.
myself, but we've brought them up. Yeah.
Okay.
And with sponges, there are a lot of different smells that they can smell like. And so I've taken to smelling sponges and started to record what they smell like because I'm noticing there are a lot of different scents.
Oh, that's
So it's
interesting.
can be useful as a way to identify them.
It's like identifying edible mushrooms.
Without the potential deadly consequences.
no, you
Do
sniff
you
the
want to be
mushroom
the
and it
tester
doesn't
for
kill you.
trying out this mushroom?
Yeah,
that
right,
seems a
exactly.
bit risky.
Yeah. Thank you
All
for
right,
the
can zoom out.
Not
Okay,
a mushroom,
coming
guys.
wide.
What was the fancy name for that?
Xenophyophore, which means bearer of strange bodies.
Bearer of strange
And
bodies.
is it
yes.
X-E-N-O?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Okay, like
XENO.
xenophobia.
Yeah, which is fear
Fear
of
of strangers.
strangers.
Uh-oh,
This
probably
one welcomes
scaring
them
it.
into their body.
Yeah.
That's a good looking coral right straight ahead.
Okay.
No, you don't have to zoom. I just think it's a good looking one.
Okay.
It's just an appreciation. Look
Yes.
at the beautiful coral.
Yes.
Beautiful plumage.
Gorgeous. Got to give a shout out here as one Jersey girl to another. We've got a Nautilus Live viewer from New Jersey. So, Hey there, thank you for tuning in. I grew up there, and it's great to have some representation. But while I say that, there are people from all over the world that are tuning in. We have, is that Namibia? Wow, thanks for joining, Namibia. We've got people all over Europe. Looks like we've got a bunch in Australia. We've got somebody in Hawaii, Malaysia, Israel. Thank you everyone from Nautilus Live for tuning in. I've got some fun articles for you, Amanda, when you get a chance about your xenophytophores.
Oh, I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
I gotta look it up. Hold on. Give me a few minutes.
I think that darker mass up to the right is a larger version of that mushroom.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. That is a big one.
That is a big one.
So that's a single cell, but with many nuclei.
A single
single-celled organism.
multi-nuclear cell. Bizarre.
That is amazing.
Do they know, I mean, do you know anything about how they function, Amanda? Do
Little.
the nuclei differentiate? Do they have different functions?
I will presume yes, but I don't know that.
Okay.
So in other animals that are multinucleate, or in other structures that are multinucleate, like in green algae, Caulerpa is a alga that you might see in Florida, and that one, the
It's
different
invasive,
nuclei.
right? Or it's become invasive on the West Coast.
Isn't that the one that's invasive in the Mediterranean?
That could be.
Or is it? Okay, well, Caulerpa and other green seaweeds, they have multiple nuclei, and each nucleus helps to express differentiated structures within the region that it's at.
Wow.
So it's like a little center for churning out proteins just in that area and signaling molecules.
Okay.
But I have no idea for xenophytophores, other than that the nuclei that are within it are dispersed fairly evenly throughout the protoplasm, which is what they call their cytoplasm in here.
Are you okay for a partial zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm good.
There's trying to figure out what's above that pink cucumber that's
Looks
yellow.
like a sea
Looks like a sponge.
Yellow.
I think that's a sponge.
Oh.
But it's a different color than everything else.
Multi-legged creature that we're seeing up in the upper left corner is a sea cucumber. So they are echinoderms, so in a way related to our sea stars. And our jellyfish, I think.
What's that tiny white sea star just moving out of frame right now with a larger body?
That's a brittle star, an ophiuroid, so yet another type of echinoderm.
Okay.
And what do you know? It's got 5 arms.
Oh, pentaradial symmetry again.
There you go.
That's one of the iconic features of phylum Echinodermata.
Yeah.
So are we still waiting for the ship to catch up?
We're waiting for the ship to do something other than fall backwards.
All right. Just let us know.
Roger.
Full wide.
This is a nice coral and echinoderm garden.
Yeah.
It's got good diversity.
So Amanda, can you spell xenophora for me?
A xenophyophore?
Xenophyophore, got it.
Well, I haven't practiced spelling bees since since elementary school. But let's go for it. Picture the word.
Dan-
X-E-N-O.
Dan, you
Yep.
okay with a partial zoom?
P-H-Y.
Or you want to wait?
P-H-Y-O.
Yep.
We'll wait.
P-H-O-R-E.
Wait.
You're correct as far as the article that I'm looking at.
You
Yes.
have won the
You
script
Yeah.
spelling
win the
bee.
spelling bee.
Spelling
Okay.
bee. Yeah.
Okay.
Next up, my favorite tunicate name, Nimidocarpia finmerkiensis.
I know
Whoa.
that. It's
Oh.
pink and smooth, and I've seen it live at Freddie Harbor, growing on the
Oh.
docks.
I
Yep.
always get excited when I see that one while scuba diving. We
Yep.
would not see that species down here, to my knowledge.
Right. No, it's shallow water. And Nimidocarpa starts
Yes.
C-N-I-D-O.
So we've got Heather from Florida leaning in to say hi to you, Amanda.
Hi, Heather from Florida.
And she did send this article, which kind of gives an idea about how your xenophyophores are eating.
Oh.
And it seems like they have strings of mucus, which are deployed along the test. So that's sort of like their internal skeleton-like structure. And these are building up feces and sediment. And then it seems like there's a bacteria in these mucus threads. And so it seems like they're farming the bacteria and using them as a source of food.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you that this is in Syringomyia corbicula. You can fix that one for me.
I have no idea who that is.
Um,
But that is way cool about the
Is
way
that
they
a
hunt.
journal?
yeah, so it's from
Oh.
a paper by, no, that was the species
Oh,
name,
okay.
sorry.
Oh, the species name.
That was the species named, and it was from a paper, Laura Liliad, Mehanella, and Subet from 2004.
Huh.
And I'm
Pretty
not
recent.
sure which journal this is coming from, but this is Heather from Florida is really helping us out here. She gave me a
Great.
whole article. It is
Heather-
Chris Ma wrote this article.
Ah.
Oh.
It takes a community to raise a scientist.
It does.
It does. Well, Heather Hawk is an important part of that community. So, yeah, she is a PhD student who studies all kinds of invertebrate diversity, and so she knows quite a bit about everything instead of specializing in one particular group. She's always been a great reference for me. Thanks, Heather from Florida.
It's okay.
Got another question coming in of what kind of a coral looks just like an anemone? I feel like there's lots of answers for that one.
Sounds like what? Is that a riddle?
I don't know. Well, it could
Well, there are solitary cup corals.
be. Okay.
Yes.
Is that, but, yeah.
It is, and there are also some groups of corals called mushroom corals,
Mhm.
and some of those can look superficially like a sea anemone.
Mm-hmm.
So we have lots of people tuning in to ask about our octopus scientist who was helping us out on our predator arm before. I believe she has left us. She had some other work to do, but she was hanging out. I believe there is still a friend of ours on the front porch.
Yeah, we still have a stowaway.
We still have a stowaway. She's hanging out up there. But we did lose our scientist friend that was hanging out on our predator arm.
She's on the jungle gym there.
Ooh, there she goes. Like she's all hanging out inside the coil of a temperature probe. Is that?
That's it.
She looks like she's sitting in a hammock. She looks very comfortable.
Shh, she's asleep.
Oh, we won't wake up our octopus.
Is that a squat lobster?
Yes.
That's a big one.
I think we collected one earlier today on another shift.
Yep, that's
Might
correct.
be Munopsis, if I'm correct.
I believe the white ones are Munidopsis.
Munidopsis.
And Erica, also, the pink guys there? Is that a type of
Yes,
mushroom coral?
that is, and then the name just changed. It's
Ah.
now, it used to be
Push it on those
Anthomastus,
guys,
and now
Wayne.
it's back
Okay.
to, or new, Heteropolypus, and I might be butchering that name.
Hmm. Wow.
And those stalks can retract, and when they do, it looks like a mushroom.
Wow.
Probably where the name came from.
I was just going to ask. You keep talking about our corals and our xenophore.
Xenophilophores?
Thank you.
It's like a tongue twister.
It is a tongue twister. I'm impressed you spelled it. It is a tongue twister. So we kind of keep relating them to mushrooms, but is there any sort of connection
Push
to
in a
that
bit
other
more
than how they look
if you
and
want.
maybe how they
Okay,
smell?
coming in.
Not really. Yeah,
So these guys
they're
are
mushroom
different.
shaped, but mushrooms are part of kingdom fungi, and corals and corals are kingdom Animalia, and xenophyophores are actually different kingdom Protista. So they're all quite different from each other.
Erica, are these guys colonial? Is each polyp an individual, or?
Amanda, I don't know.
I stumped them.
Yeah.
I stumped Amanda.
Do you know this,
I
Dean?
get the prize.
You know invertebrates. Do you know this one?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Back to the common name, sometimes, maybe incorrectly, we give organisms a common name to relate it to something else. It's not
Yeah.
a mushroom at all, but it looks
Yeah.
like a mushroom, so we call it a mushroom coral. Can be confusing.
And then we confuse ourselves, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. We like our tongue-twisting scientific names. They help us
colonial.
clarify things.
Oh, Amanda's looking up the coral thing, a question.
It's looking colonial,
Oh.
but the
Yeah.
page is loading.
Yeah, I'm thinking that in the middle of each of those sets of arms on the stalk is a mouth. So either it's one animal with a bunch of different mouths, or each of those crowns of tentacles is an individual.
By the way, you can see little white rods kind of down at the base of each of those polyps.
Mhm.
Those are called sclerites. That's the skeleton of this mushroom coral. So you would see like a really big skeleton on a coral, like a bamboo coral or, well, a lot of the larger corals. But these guys, they're just sclerites, little rods. But it's still shared.
Is there a
Similar.
tiny spider-like creature on the bottom?
Is there? Like a sea spider? Oh,
Spider?
On the
do you have any more zoom? I see it on that bottommost polyp.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right.
Thinking it's a crab.
Is he
I'm
crab?
thinking it's a
Yeah,
crab.
yeah.
Little yellow, right on the
Yeah.
very bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
On the coral polyp.
Hanging
I don't
out.
have
Hanging down, yeah,
I don't have a lot more
Oh,
right.
zoom available.
he goes, maybe he's looking for food as well.
He's hanging out. Yeah, it's amazing the smaller the number of small creatures that you don't see until you stare at
Yeah,
a zoomed in
yeah.
portion of a rock.
Stare at one rock for a while. We're
For a
learning
while.
from Amanda.
Yeah.
It is amazing. There's so many different creatures in one space, and they all use the habitat together.
Mhm.
Absolutely beautiful.
I had a professor who taught me intertidal biology, and he said you need to put your eyes where your feet are to really see what's going on.
I can vouch for that. I think I've definitely accidentally stuck my face into a tide pool looking at things. So what's that? Oh, now I'm wet.
Right.
Okay, coming wide.
But absolutely, just
Thank
to
you.
explore everything that's there. We need many, many more hours.
Full
Well,
wide.
fortunately for you guys here at Nautilus Live, we've got plenty more hours to go. I think we're only about 12 or 13 hours into this dive, and we're planning about a 35-hour dive. So we'll be with you for quite some time. Oh, we've got a question here from one of our science communication fellows, Valeria. Do you guys know the difference between these octopus and the ones we find in shallower water? So we're definitely saying these guys are a different species of either deep sea or cold water. I'm not going to try to pronounce their scientific name.
Moose
Something.
octopus.
Moose octopus robustus.
Right.
That's what we believe the species currently is. So there's still some work out to figure out whether they're their own thing or they're part of that. But
What about life histories? Does anybody know any differences between shallow and deep octopi?
I don't know a whole lot
We
about
don't know a
deep
whole lot about
sea.
these deep species
Yeah,
yet.
Yeah.
right.
I know that our shallow water ones are kind of short-lived. They don't have too long of a life. They're laying eggs. They do have those sort of color-changing chromatophores on their skin. We haven't seen any of that in our current octopus.
And the moose octopus, yeah.
Hopefully with our repeated visits here, we'll learn more about just the birth rate, maybe, and the senescence of females. We'd hope to put a marker near one individual and mark it through time, but we are not able to do that yet.
Wow, what is that thing in the lower left?
My guess is
Push
it's a
in a bit
stalk
there, Wayne.
covered with
Zooming in.
Other things.
other things. Also, when we have a pause, I have lots of
hold that.
information about mushroom
Hold it.
corals. Oh, it's covered in tube worms. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
There's another one of those sea urchins that they saw
Oh,
before
right.
with the pencil-like spines.
Yes.
And
Yeah, these look like tube worms.
yeah,
So they are tube worms covering
well, it looks
A
like
dead stalk.
coral?
an old
A
stalk.
An old
that
stalk of
focus?
something.
Yeah.
And so all of those white parts are sort of the
Interlaced
mouth.
with ophiuroids, it looks like. Up above.
Yeah, brittle stars everywhere.
Yep.
And those are serpulid worms. You can tell because they have this feather dustery-like set of tentacles, but they also have this little tiny cone that sticks up out of their hole as well. So let me tell you about mushroom corals. I
Yes,
just learned this.
Go for
Tell
it.
us.
A mushroom coral is a colony. So you're seeing a bunch of different individuals that are living together, and some of them, as individuals, are
wide.
differentiated into different shapes. Many of them
you
don't
can
eat,
try a
so
zoom
they
it
have
there
to get their
again.
nutrition from
The
other individuals.
It wanted to land itself there. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
Oh, a little marine snail.
Yeah.
So different coral polyps that are there on the mushroom coral are the big ones that we see sticking out. Those are called autozoids, and those are the feeding ones. They cannot reproduce, so they're sterile. And then there are siphonozoids, which are tiny and cover basically the cap of the mushroom between
Really?
all of those. And the siphonozoids are the reproductive parts. And then there was, oh yes, the cap is called the orthozoid. So it's actually its own individual structure. It seems like others kind of embed around that.
What's that tulip in the background? The little purple, right by the
Tulip
laser.
in the background.
The lasers, the
Ah,
Yeah.
laser is
That
hitting
is
it.
an acorn worm, right? Am I looking at the right thing?
Yeah.
That's a
Acorn worm.
hemichordate, and it's more closely related to us than any of these other things we're
Yeah,
seeing, which
yeah.
is so odd.
It is.
Yeah, I noticed the resemblance.
so you saw, huh? So what do they have in common with us? Well, they have during their, well actually now, for us it's during our development that we have gill slits in our pharynx. So those close up in us because we don't breathe underwater anymore, sadly, except for scuba. But these guys, they still have gill slits in their pharynx. And also during development, they, they have a post-anal tail, which we have as well.
Oh, I lost your voice.
Where'd I go?
Oh, now I hear you. Okay.
No, I hear it. Yeah.
Okay. And they don't have a notochord, which is one of the other key features of chordates, and I think that's why they're called hemichordates, is they have another similar type cord that's not a notochord. And a notochord is just a kind of firm rod that sits near the nerve cord.
That was great, Amanda.
Yeah.
And that's what makes sea squirts similar to us as well. They have a notochord only in the larval phase. And they're called tadpole larvae. They look like tadpoles. They may only be a couple of millimeters long. And when they get ready to settle down, they go head first onto a rock, and the notochord is resorbed. And so then they become nothing but filter feeders.
Right. So yeah, it's pretty neat that in larvae they can metamorphose, you know, and through development they can gain or lose things. And so a sea squirt doesn't look like it has any of those features. And for us, it's hard to see the pharyngeal gill slits that we have unless you look at a developing embryo, and you can see them there.
And is chordata a superphylum, or is it the phylum?
I'm pretty sure it's a phylum.
I think it's a phylum.
And
It is a
so
phylum.
vertebrates are a subphylum of chordata, as are sea squirts, as are hemichordates.
It's either subphylum or class.
Okay.
I'm not sure which.
Okay.
Those are tricky for me.
Yep. Wow. So we share developmental characteristics with these animals that live on the bottom of the ocean. It's amazing.
I like when you can see the little worms go back into their tubes.
Yep.
Maybe they got a good bite of something,
Or they've been frightened.
or they've been frightened.
Hemichordata is a phylum,
It is. Okay.
and chordata is a phylum.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Tunicata is a subphylum.
Yes. Okay. Or
Oh,
Eurochordata.
I think there's a crab or spider at the top.
Oh,
You can start to see his legs moving.
I'm watching.
At the top of this.
Yeah, yeah, he's coming.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that a larvae?
I don't
I-
know.
I don't
don't know if
think
I'm
Long,
so.
spindly legs.
Oh, I'm looking at something different.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, it's an arthropod. It definitely has jointed.
An arthropod.
Arthropod is the phylum Arthropoda, and it means jointed limbs, or jointed feet, I guess. Arthro, joint.
Oh, we're scaring this tube worm. They're all closing up.
So it's really easy for us to think that having limbs with joints in them is important because we have them, but arthropods are actually the only group other than us in animals that have jointed limbs.
Cool. Okay, coming wide.
That's pretty neat. Got
Thank you.
a pondering or a question coming in from Jason. He said earlier in the dive there was a large octocoral that looked like an anemone. Later on I think it was discovered to be an anemone, but I'm not really sure. Does anyone remember the octocoral?
I remember the octocoral, but I don't remember it being discovered to be an anemone.
So it's still a coral, not an anemone? That's what we're thinking?
I don't know which
have
one
I don't
we're
know
no
what.
referring to.
idea.
I don't either.
No idea. Sorry, Jason.
If you can describe it, was it the big white one when we were sitting near the fisher early this morning?
Let's see, Jason, which octocoral are you talking about?
Because I remember a pink one or a reddish one.
Ooh, did the ship catch up? Be ready to start the transect?
Slowly. Slowly. We have actually gained ground for the first time this hour.
Ooh.
All 50 meters.
What?
Oh, 25.
What's the challenge? The
Just weather.
swell
and weather.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything we can plan for that'll make turning for the next, after this transect's done, easier for you guys?
Oh, I think heading to the southwest is going to be great.
Ah, okay. So this is going to be a difficulty every other time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the white one.
So we're
the
we're
white one.
basically running
White
up the down
octocoral.
escalator.
Got it.
Yeah.
We're going up and down an escalator?
Running up the down escalator.
Or we're running up the down escalator? That always
Yeah.
is a little challenging.
So I guess as we
Oh, I didn't see it.
Running might be an optimistic.
Don't try this at home.
Oh.
Yeah. That just means more time for exploring.
Can't say no to that.
Is that a sponge up in the upper left? The white.
Ooh,
It's huge.
that is pretty.
That is a sponge.
A stalked
Amanda, is it a
sponge.
sponge?
Sponge alert. Oh, yeah, it is. That's a nice looking sponge.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Appears to
on a
have a
stalk.
It is, and the stalk is white and coated in tissue, so that means it's not a hyalonema. It's also not shaped like a hyalonema.
Is it a glass sponge?
Is it the start
It is
of
a glass
this?
sponge. Can you iris down, please?
Is it
Sure.
not this Sacocalix pedunculata?
Pedunculata.
The start of
Pedunculatus?
it? Or maybe
Quite
related?
Possibly. I don't know.
That's like the
but-
one that we sucked a piece. No,
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 because
that one
didn't
was.
have a
Yeah,
stalk.
right. It did not.
That is a beautiful sponge.
Maybe it's the beginning of that.
Yeah.
How do you say Sacocalix?
Yeah,
Sacocalix?
Sacocalix pedunculatus is one that we have in our deep sea guide. This might be that guy. And Jason, we looked it up. That white anemone / coral is a soft coral. It's a type or related to mushroom corals within the Alcyonidae, and its genus and species is Bathyalcyon robustum. That was a tough one to say. I much prefer saying
Wow,
Xenophyophore.
that is a big sponge.
It is a big sponge. So those lasers are 10 centimeters apart, or 4 inches.
Wow.
So this guy is easily nearly a foot across.
Oh, more, right?
I got
Thereabouts.
Well, top to bottom.
Top to bottom, that's true. Oh, yeah.
And this is going to take a while for a sponge of this size to grow, right? Do we have any estimate of how old this one might be?
There are very few estimates of sponge age, but there are many measurements of sponge growth rates.
Ah.
So it's hard, right? Because sponges don't grow like in a straight line. They'll kind of get fatter and thicker and taller all at the same time. So we know that they grow about 1 to 3 centimeters per year for these glass sponges. At least for species that have been measured, that seems to be the range.
And those hole features you can see straight through.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot to learn about the water that the way that the water is directed to flow through the sponge. So like those holes, water can just pass right past that sponge without ever entering into the water filtration system. So instead, for the sponge to actually feed, it has to have water come in through the body surface. So why does it have holes through it? Are they like speed holes to allow currents to pass through without knocking the sponge over? There's an
Or
idea.
to help clean it?
Yeah, there's an idea that in sponges that have holes that point downward toward the sediment, that's almost like a dump valve area for sediment. So sediment that collects on the sponge gets moved by mucus down to those holes and then can not smother the sponge. But these are all ideas. It hasn't really been tested because most glass sponges are too shallow to access. I mean, look at us. We're 3,200 meters deep right now.
Or too deep
Too
to
deep
access?
to access?
Too deep to access. Sorry. With experiments and with constant monitoring. So no, we only get to have snapshots of seeing them like this.
Would the larger holes be for any sort of symbiotic relationships?
That's a good hypothesis. It's possible, but
We have seen snailfish and
Okay,
skate
off we go.
eggs reside inside larger sponges.
We saw some on the
Okay.
last cruise too.
Ice
There were
sponge.
lots of cat shark egg
Yes.
cases.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
And it may be that they're kept clean inside those structures.
That, yeah.
It's good for the skate or the cat shark egg case.
so there's another sponge on a stalk, but that's a different one. I'm pretty sure. It's smooth on the outside.
You want a close up?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
And there's that xenoph
Sea
Ooh,
cucumber.
more xenophyophore.
fire, yeah.
Yeah.
Xenophyophores
Xenophyophore.
smell like mushrooms, but they're multi-nucleated Protus?
Protest.
Yes.
Yes.
My goodness, you guys.
I'm catching up.
We're
and
learning
You
you're
should all
teaching
enter
me
my
you
invertebrate
so
zoology
much.
class.
You get an A.
Learning so much.
I feel bad because my invertebrate zoology
that.
class is taking a midterm this week while I'm gone.
Aw.
Poor guys.
I'm sure they'll do great because you're an excellent teacher. I love learning from you.
Are they required to sign on at any time for extra credit?
Maybe it's a good study aid. What phylum is this? What phylum is that?
Oh, that's fun.
It should be. There's a variety.
It's true.
Do we know if these sea cucumbers that we're seeing are all sort of the same species, different species? Is there anything to identify them?
They are different genera, perhaps.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me
And,
more.
well, I don't know if I can. I'm not a cucumber expert, and a lot of the things I look at are by imagery, but that might not be the best way to identify these guys. But some of the darker ones are called Benthidites, and the lighter pink one is either another species of Benthidites, or it could be from the family Synallactidae.
Or Synallactidae.
Yeah, but I don't know. But there is a variety. They're not all the same.
They're not all the same, so we're seeing a bunch of different.
Yeah, we have observed, let me count here. 12 different types down
That's
in the Davidson Seamount, if not more.
Wow.
Well populated rock right there. To the
So when you're looking,
Yeah.
you're looking for coloration? Are you looking for tube feed? What stands out?
Well, that's what I don't know. I don't know the taxonomy or the morphology of cucumbers.
Okay, we just know we have 12
But we've
different
collected
ones.
them and taken pictures and been able to match the two together and made an identification for the guide.
Gotcha.
But what the actual taxonomists used to tell you that, right, it still resides with them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they're keeping it a secret.
Secret knowledge.
Secret taxonomy.
Something for us to learn.
Yeah.
So science, just to clarify, we're still running along this transect here, correct? And maintaining a relatively higher altitude off the bottom.
We haven't started
the
the
objective.
transact. Did we start it?
We
Or-
did. We're making very slow progress
Trying.
because the ship's been having
Oh.
trouble.
The weather came
fighting
up
against the weather.
significantly. The ship's struggling a bit.
Yeah, the escalator's going the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's sped
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
We're trying our best.
I'm looking in the Argus cam. It looks like
So
we've
is that
got
the wind that's
broad,
doing this?
similar kind of seafloor around us.
Wind and current
Yeah.
No
both have
octopuses
come
in
down
sight on
since we
Argus.
started moving.
No,
Okay.
because we're lower on the slope, right? Or the
I think. Where do I see depth?
okay, so
Okay, so
do that and Herc.
got it. Ah, 3240 meters. Yeah, I think that's a little bit lower, right? Really?
I'm going to do what you did.
Do it on the right side, right?
Pretty much off in the
Yeah,
road
Jess, we've,
there, aren't we?
we've been stopping for as much as a
I
minute
think I
or
have
two.
to do my left. Oh,
Just to,
Oh, you guys been hanging out.
yeah.
Hey.
give
What
me
was
They're
there
gonna
to
have
Where
to
do I go
sniff
back?
at stuff.
It was
Yeah.
high pack.
High pack
I think.
survey.
Survey.
What?
That one?
Mm-hmm.
No, I know.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Might be a good time for our viewers to kind of look at our Argus cam, and you can see that Argus is moving around a lot more than Herc. So Argus
Ooh.
is
Is that a sea
kind of
star?
like a counterweight.
Terrestrial?
Do you have an
That one?
engineer that wants to speak to that a little bit
Or is it-
more?
I wish- I wish Chris Ma was online too. Can you guys zoom on that
Think they're
bright
busy.
white thing in the background, just between the laser beams right now, but in the upper quarter of the screen?
Sure. Are you talking about that star-looking sponge thing
Is that what it is? We were, yeah.
at the
yes.
top of the screen
Oh,
there?
The
yeah.
star-looking sponge, because I wasn't sure if it was a star or a
Star
sponge.
sponge.
Oh, is it one of those squishy sponges?
It is a sponge, isn't it? It's tricksy.
Oh.
All right, Wayne, go ahead.
Going in. Thanks, Jess.
There's a little squat lobster there as well.
Totally a
sponge.
sponge.
Wow.
Wow.
Really looks starish.
Yep.
It did. Tricky.
Sorry, I'll get you guys a better setup here.
Oh, it's
Ah,
okay.
there's a Munidopsis. Squat lobster.
Yep.
2 of them.
Just look down a little bit.
Do we need to inspect the sponge any closer, or
No,
just
no.
identify it?
It was
okay.
to see, yeah.
Okay. So it's been identified, coming wide a bit.
Thank
Sure thing.
you.
See if we can find something that deserves our attention a little bit more. Okay.
The
Not
beautiful
discriminating against the
sponges.
sponges here, guys. We love sponges.
I love that the viewers love sponges. Really?
Oh, wow.
There's my favorite.
Ooh.
That is spunctrunculus. I like to call him spunky. It's a giant cusk eel. It's the largest cusk eel, I believe.
This is a cusk eel?
Wayne, you want to go ahead and push in?
Sure.
Wow.
His full name is Spectrunculus grandis.
So how big is that guy?
Oh,
That's
he's about to
great.
swim through the lasers.
Maybe a
so
meter.
we'll know.
Wow.
Yeah,
Or
he
close
looks
to a
pretty
meter.
Big.
Uh,
Beautiful.
see if
Do
we
these
can,
have any bioluminescent?
I
spots?
don't think so, but I've been surprised at other things, but I don't think so.
Okay.
mhm.
And what makes them? They're clearly not true eels.
It's not a true eel, nope.
So they're fish.
I don't know why it
what
got
a
their
eel
common
is.
name.
Okay.
And they're bony fish, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So I kind of look like an eel. Its common name's messing us up again.
Does it have pectoral fins that it just
Ooh, there's
never
another. I
uses?
think that's
I
another sea
think-
spider back there. Pycnogonid.
It did look like it was
Oh.
adjusting them a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not
Hi,
sure
big
how much
guy.
it was using those pectoral fins, but it did stick them
All right,
out.
Wayne, let's go ahead and find
His-
something else to
Oh,
Okay.
there's
look
a
at.
pycnogonid.
You saw something?
Yeah, to the right of the lasers right now.
Oh, yeah, I see ya.
It's a
Is that
sea
him?
spider.
Faint pink
one
there.
sec
Oh,
there,
that guy.
Yeah.
I'll get a little bit better light on it for
Oh
you
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah, yeah.
He's spindly.
This is perfect for Halloween month.
Let's go find out the
Whoa.
spindly, long-legged, creepy crawlies at the bottom of the ocean.
So this is called a pycnogonid, commonly known as sea spiders, but they're not spiders like the spiders that we have on land. They are crustaceans. They have 4 limbs on each side,
Go ahead and zoom in a bit
Um,
more if you want, Wayne.
and they
Okay.
have palps, and they stick those, I think they're called palps, right?
I think so, yeah.
And they will inject those into their prey and suck out their liquids. Prey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So a
Yum.
lot like
Also,
spiders.
There's not a lot of
Yee.
Yeah, we're just smelling
space for all
roses
their
for a
organs
while
in their
until
body.
we get
So these
some up
guys
to
have
speed.
gonads that project down into each of their legs
Yeah.
because there's no space
Wow.
You said there are 4 legs
on each side.
on each side. Got it. So 8 legs, just like a spider. Wow.
Cool.
And unlike most things down here that have 5.
Yeah.
What's this anemone here?
Yeah.
Pushing
Look
on
at
that
that.
way. One. Haven't seen one
Wow.
that color here for a while.
Clavillaria? Or are those tiny?
I don't know. Is this a ceryanthid or is it a anemone?
Oh,
Oh, we're back? Or is
Mina.
that a different, see the thing hanging off the dead stalk there? Didn't we see that before?
On the left?
Yeah.
We did see
Yes.
something similar.
Or just something similar. Wow.
I don't know.
I
If
did see those.
I think we're moving. Maybe we're hanging out in the same circle.
Is this a ceryanthid like
Go ahead
that?
and come right there, Wayne.
I-
They tend to burrow a little bit.
It
Mhm.
could
Okay,
be in
could be.
sediment. I don't know how deep the sediment is here.
They don't have to be too deep.
Oh, then perhaps.
Maybe it is.
Full wide.
Thank you for that.
Taylor Ann, we've got a shout out for you from Joey in Illinois.
Oh no, Taylor Ann just went to dinner and booked
Oh.
just relieved her. But
Well,
I'll let
maybe
her
she's
know.
down at dinner saying hi. I'll tell her when she comes back.
Was that a negative?
We had a
Well-
question
An
of if we
octopus?
were to take a live sample from the seafloor, would they be able to survive? And it would be quite a challenge for something to survive. They're living in a very pressured environment, so
Can we zoom on that, guys?
the change in
Yep.
temperature
What are you looking
and
there for?
pressure would
Science?
really affect
Looking
them.
for the third limb. See if it's a male or a female.
Octopus, Roger.
Oh,
Yeah, it
sorry.
looks like it.
Octopus.
Okay. Iris down.
Come on, make that. Come on,
Third
make it
leg.
show. Looks like no.
I can't see the third one.
I don't
Did
see
you-
the
oh
third
no,
arm.
you're right. The third one is folded under. I was seeing the fourth one. Oh, you're hiding it, huh?
Show us your arms.
He or she may not want to give that information up.
And again, that's because the third arm is the one that's modified in males to transfer sperm into the female.
Strange that they have little packets. It's like little Febreze packets that they lay and deposit. of their sperm packets?
Yep.
Yes, they're called spermatophores, and they're little packets that house the sperm so they can survive being outside of the body for a long time. And also they're sticky so they can stick to the mantle of the female. The way these guys reproduce is they have, well, a male reproductive system, and as the sperm travel down that, it goes past a spermatophoric gland, which packages the sperm into the spermatophore, and then, and then it
Come
travels
wide, yeah.
down a spermatophore
Okay,
If you want to do
Duct.
full wide, we can find
Coming
some
wide.
else.
to the modified pseudophallus, which is at the end of that third arm, which is called the hectocotylus. All these terms. And
Oh,
once-
look at that.
Look at that
Red sea star.
Yes.
can we get a zoom on
Oh,
that
and
guy,
that
please?
Yeah, of
Purpley
course.
blue.
Yeah, I'll come
Wow,
down a bit.
that,
Sea
that's
cucumber, these
not
colors.
one we've seen
ahead, Wayne.
before.
okay, zooming in.
Is that a type of a cushion star?
Wow.
It looks like
It does
it.
look like
That might be Pteraster. We're calling it species 1.
Okay.
That's
That
a
is
cool one.
amazing.
Very
It's
cool.
kinda spiky.
There's a little jelly
Wow.
floating by. It
Looks
looks
like
so
you
fuzzy.
picture of the
Yeah, starting with a P, as
P,
in
yeah.
the pteraster.
Yeah, it looks like it's been
Terra.
knitted together.
It
does look
look
knitted.
knitted.
does.
It's adorable.
But that's provisional. We're not convinced yet.
Okay, hold
Just
on.
want to give him a hug. He looks soft and fuzzy.
Yeah.
If you go to an aquarium and you see a pteraster in the aquarium, and you see the underside with the jaws, though, these things are sinister. They've got these big plates on their jaws, and they've got 5 of them, and so they all 5 close together. Ooh. Soft and squishy, voracious predators.
And that thing is, what? Less than 2 inches across, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the zoom.
It looks
Okay.
like Yeah, sure. Maybe we're finally starting to pick up speed a little bit. Do you guys want to be back on transect?
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yes, yes.
Making tracks. Okay.
On
Full
the
wide.
road again.
Thank you. Thanks, Wayne.
You're welcome.
Oh, there's another one.
Another pteraster.
Yeah.
Species
About
1.
17 meters off. Roger. I'll come back over to the line. Okay.
I've got a question. In this world of benthic filter feeders, why no ascidians?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Could you tell us what an ascidian is?
An ascidian is also called a sea squirt or a tunicate. So they are chordates, same phylum as we are. Yeah, they're filter feeders. We did see a Culeolus earlier, which is an ascidian, but yeah, we don't see a lot of encrusting ones here.
You want to zoom on this third arm and this guy too?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Ooh, sees it already.
Got it.
Pseudophallus.
You see it?
Well,
Yeah,
it
he just
was
curled
folding
it in.
over,
I
but
think so, yeah.
see it there?
Yeah.
I
Yep,
think they're just
yep, I
camera
see
shy.
that.
It's a male.
Yep, it is a male. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's good to get these where we can confirm if they're male or female to see what the sex ratio is of the octopuses here.
So it's that little section of arm that doesn't have any cups on
Yeah,
it.
and it's
Correct.
stiff. It doesn't coil.
Looks like he's protecting it
Oh.
right now.
He
Or
is.
cleaning it or something.
Mhm.
Or something. Okay, coming out. All right, full wide.
Great,
So we've
thank you.
seen a few male octopus as we venture around
Looks
our
like there's some
octopus
more over here.
garden. That's good to know. So maybe some of them do hang out here.
Oh, what are you guys doing over here?
You want to zoom?
Yes, please.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
go ahead.
This could be the
Wow, anemone.
Oh.
Are those 2?
It is 2.
What
Wow,
the heck?
what's
Oh.
happening here?
is
Looks
Who
Why
are
is
you
she-
guys?
that
What are you
is
doing?
That,
Do we see a third arm?
yeah, I think it's a male.
2.
they could be dancing.
It could be dancing.
Does
does-
that tip look?
It looks
that tip
dirty,
looks.
but
It looks almost cut off.
Yeah, it does.
Or
Looks
curled?
like it's missing its third leg.
Or is it
super
curled?
like
Might be
curled,
curled.
under?
Curled under.
Like,
he's hiding his cards.
I think they're getting to know each other.
I'm not playing poker with an octopus.
They are.
I think that's a male.
Let's watch this for a
The
moment.
big one
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
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 And do you think the female, the one on top probably is a female? Do you think?
Can you take the lasers off for a moment?
I don't think that is
Sure.
a male.
Great.
The one at the bottom. Well, oh, I see.
Well, it's curled in.
It's curled in. Yes, right.
So
Well,
if this were a male preparing to mate with the female, we would be watching for that third arm on the right, the hectocotylus, to reach out and reach in under her mantle. And so you can see when she's ventilating her gills, there's sort of an opening on the bottom side of the mouth, sorry, of the head.
So do you think it's most likely a male and a female?
I think it might be.
So far, I haven't been able to see the tips of the arms on the upper octopus right now.
Oh, okay.
What are we doing?
Whoa!